Hey guys, Joe here, bringing you another daily vlog. Albeit it's not necessarily daily because I skipped a couple of days, but nevertheless, it's going to be daily, or going to attempt to be daily if I can get these going every single day, which is what I want to do. This is my vlog number 6, and I'm looking forward to doing it. I couldn't really think of anything to do, so I'm just gonna kind of half-ass what I'm gonna do. Not really half-ass, but it's not necessarily anything profound. Nothing I've done has been necessarily profound, but this is gonna be kind of like, all right, out of the blue kind of thing. I just kind of came up with it now because I didn't think of anything all day, and I mean, it's 10:40, so anyway, quick recap of my day. I had a pretty good day at work. Actually did something I enjoyed. And first day of work that I ever actually had fun at and thoroughly enjoyed. So that's a plus. Although I was still stressed out and still or I guess boring. Didn't really want to go, but at least I enjoyed what I did today as opposed to what I do most other days at work. I have a test tomorrow. Not much else going on today. I've been watching Star Trek. That's awesome. The original series. I have to get going on the next generation because I haven't never watched it all the way through. I've watched a few episodes. There's a lot of stupid hair. There's a lot of stuff I got to get going. But anyway, Star Trek is really cool, but Star Wars is also really cool. And one cool thing about Star Wars is at Disneyland they have a ride about it. And one cool thing about rides is that they appear at theme parks. And that's exactly what I want to talk about today. Theme parks. Like that segue, I thought it was awesome. Came up with it on the spot right there. Flowed right from Star Trek into theme parks. What? Uh, yeah, so I kind of came up with the idea to talk about theme parks. The difference of the different theme parks that I'm used to in Southern California. Um, we have like three major ones that everyone knows about in SoCal. I don't know about anywhere else in the U.S. or I mean I know where different Disney theme parks are and stuff, but and Six Flags theme parks, but specifically talking about Southern California. Now we have the three here. We have Disneyland and California Adventure, but those are kind of one thing. We have Knott's Berry Farm, and we have Six Flags. Now, I'm going to take turns, talking about each one individually, and then, discuss the pros and cons and the different things about them that I enjoy and that, other people would enjoy. Now, first off, let's talk about Disneyland. I really like Disneyland. Despite the fact that it's really kiddie and there's a lot of stuff about it that it just, you know, is a little too below the, I guess, adult age. It has that feeling. It really is. I mean, the Magic Kingdom. It kind of is the happiest place on earth when you think about it because you can go there regardless of your age and enjoy these really kiddie, little kid attractions and still have a great time on them. And they have stuff for adults too. I mean, there's a lot of often in Disney, there's a lot of in jokes and adult jokes that you get going, and you can enjoy things, enjoy Disney movies, even as an adult as a kid, and that's a trade or a testament to a good cartoon as well. If you can enjoy it regardless of age. But anyway, I'm getting off topic. The SpongeBob did that, but I digress. Oh yeah, Disneyland. What I really like about it is that one of the things I really like about it is that you can enjoy being at Disneyland regardless of how old you are. It really is the happiest place on earth, the Magic Kingdom, because you go in there and you can enjoy it no matter what. The rides there, the reason I think I enjoy it so much is because all the rides are so atmospheric. They You can tell when they make these rides, they put a passion into these rides to make these rides what they are. They put a passion into it to give it an atmosphere and to give it a character and to make it, something tangible and give it something that you're going to remember. It's going to leave an impression on you. And I think that is really cool. Space Mountain. You go on Space Mountain and it's not a particularly outstanding roller coaster. I mean, it's fun, but it's not like, the best roller coaster in the world. but you remember it because it has that atmosphere. Space, you feel like you're in space. It's pitch black and you see stars everywhere and galaxies and planets and stuff, and it's just so cool because you feel like you're actually in space and actually in a spaceship flying around through space. And they have the narration as you're going up the chain lifts and stuff, and that kind of stuff. Pirates of the Caribbean. It's not even that fun of a ride aside from like the one drop, but the thing is they add so much to it. All the animatronics, all the character, all the atmosphere that you go on and you experience going on the ride makes it a good ride and makes it thoroughly enjoyable. Haunted Mansion does that too. And then there are the good ride. I mean, Space Mountain and Big Thunder Mountain are both excellent rides in and of themselves, just because they're fun. You go on them and you have fun. They're the G-force and stuff. They're good roller coasters, but they also have that level of atmosphere that you enjoy so much because you go on Big Thunder and you feel like you're in the Old West. You feel like you're on a mine train and you see dinosaur bones and you hear dynamite and there's goats and billy goats and you're going through mines, and that is so cool. Just the amount of atmosphere they put into their rides makes the rides that much better. It makes them enjoyable for people of all ages. That is what's really cool about Disneyland. Now, Six Flags is on the opposite end of the spectrum. They have their whole theme for the theme park, which is, it's kind of a weird mix between, the DC comic books and the Looney Tunes. And oh no, not okay. Yeah, the DC Comics and Looney Tunes. I got mixed up with Knott's Berry Farm. But the thing is, their rides, aside from having names based off of them and maybe the cues for the rides going onto them, don't really have anything to do with the themes. The Batman ride, you go on the queue for the Batman ride. The queue, the waiting line is pretty kick-ass. You see all the Batman stuff and all the scenery and the Batmobile and all the cool stuff. But when you get on the ride, aside from it being gray and black, it doesn't really have anything to do with Batman, other than the name. And I think, but the thing is, despite the fact that they don't have, anything really to do with their theme, they're not atmospheric. Six Flags gets away with it because it's just their rides are just so kick-ass. Goliath, X2, Viper, Batman, Superman. I still haven't gone on Superman, but I want to go on Superman. And all these rides are just so intensely fun that it doesn't matter whether or not you're getting an experience or an atmosphere from it. The experience of going on the ride is enough to hold you over and to make it a suitable ride and a suitable experience for you to go on. And that's also really cool. So, and then the kiddie rides there, the rides for the people who aren't necessarily, ready to go on the larger rides, do have the atmosphere. So they have just enough atmosphere to hold you over if you aren't, capable of going on the more extreme rides, but you still, if you aren't, willing to go on the less intense rides, you still have all those other options to go on. The things that really drag people into Six Flags are those intense roller coasters and those really fun experiences on those rides. And so, on the opposite end of the spectrum, Disneyland's really good because it's atmospheric and it appeals to all ages because you can go on a ride and just experience something and be dragged into a world. Well, Six Flags is excellent because you go there and without really even needing an atmosphere or a world or anything to really drag you in, you just go because the rides are good, which is what most theme parks do. Now, Knott's Berry Farm is kind of weird because to me it's kind of a mix between Six Flags and Disneyland. They have the really good, exciting, intense roller coasters, and then they have the atmosphere. And I don't feel like they do either of them, that Knott's does either of them as good as the other parks do. Knott's has some really good roller coasters, but nowhere near as good as Six Flags, and Knott's has really good atmosphere, but nowhere near as good as Disneyland. I love I love Knott's Berry Farm. They have great rides, and it's still really fun. But it's just not as good. It's kind of like the place you go when you don't want to spend enough money to go to Six Flags and drive all the way up to wherever Six Flags is and ridiculous amount of gas, but you don't have enough money to go to Disneyland and you want something that is in the middle and provides both experiences for you. You go to Knott's Berry Farm. And Knott's Berry Farm is really fun because at the same time it appeals to all audiences because you have the draws from both ends of the spectrum. You have the atmosphere and you have the exciting rating. Six Flags doesn't have the atmosphere. Disneyland has the atmosphere, but not the excitement. Knott's has both. And they may not do it as good as Six Flags or Disneyland, but they still have it. And that, I think, is really admirable of Knott's Berry Farm. So obviously, I like all three theme parks. I think Knott's Berry Farm is a little small, but I guess I'll go into the pros and cons, or what the differences between these theme parks. That what I think are the good things and the bad things about the theme parks. Disneyland is really good because of the atmosphere, like I said. But on the other side, despite everything good about the atmosphere and despite everything about the environment that you get sucked into and all the worlds, you still have the fact that a lot of their rides are only good because of that. Um, I think California Adventure has the roller coaster, the California Screamin', and the Tower of Terror, and those are the two rides that I feel like. I mean, even the Tower of Terror. I feel like California Screamin' is the only ride I really know of at Disneyland that could stand alone and be just an excellent ride without needing any atmosphere on it. And they do it a good, most of that ride doesn't really have much atmosphere. All it is really the boardwalk feel. And don't get me wrong, I love the rides at Disneyland. I think they're really fun and always a blast to go on. And part of it is just because they're fun rides, but the other part of it is because of the world that they suck you into. And you go on Tower of Terror, you feel like you're in a hotel and that it's the Twilight Zone. That is cool. That is cool beyond belief. And I hate free fall rides. And you go on Space Mountain, you feel like you're in space. I already said all this. But the con of Disneyland is that the rides aren't as exciting. And I think that's a little lame. Oh, and Disneyland, exorbitant prices, completely unfair prices, nowhere near what they should be priced at, and that is ridiculous that they charge so much money for Disneyland just because of the label. That is the thing that kills me on it. And I do not go to Disney, like I have not been to Disneyland in forever because I can't afford it. I would love to go there. We used to have passes there and stuff and go all the time, but I just can't afford to go there anymore. And it sucks because I love Disneyland. Six Flags, we just my family and I had passes at Six Flags. They ended like a year ago. And the thing about Six Flags is, despite all the exciting rides and everything about it that I said, I feel like it's kind of ghetto. I feel like Six Flags kind of feels run down. You go there and all the things that they have constructed. I mean, again, they have atmosphere at the place. All the theme park itself has a theme. It's Disneyland and DC and Looney Tunes and stuff. And they have good themes. They have the ninja map, the Samurai Mountain, and all the different stuff that they have going on there. But all the stuff they have constructed for that kind of thing feels so under par. So it feels really run down and not the best it could be. And that really gets me because I feel like if they built it up and polished it a little bit, it could be such a good theme park. And I mean, it already is an excellent theme park, but it could be that much better. And if they added more atmosphere to their rides, they could be better. I understand not being able to have atmosphere on roller coasters because, well, you're going, 50 miles, 60 miles per hour. But still, the atmosphere that they do have kind of seems a little under par just because it seems so run down. And that is really a shame. Now, Knott's Berry Farm, I feel like, is again a great theme park, but my problem with it is it seems so small to me. The atmosphere that they have, that they do really well, the Wild West thing and the whole background of the Wild West, everything about that, I think is excellent. The old town Knott's Berry Farm that they have it's all very enthralling, and I love it. But the thing is, Knott's Berry Farm just seems so cramped and small. You have good rides, but you kind of run out of the good rides really quickly. Ghost Rider's awesome. Montezuma's Revenge is awesome. Accelerator's awesome. But after you do all the really good rides, there's not much to do left. I mean, you see, since the place is so small, you see the atmospheric areas really quickly. And it kind of sucks because you want to get more of that out of it. And since it's so small, you can't really get exactly like everything you're anticipating from it. And I think that's the problem with Knott's Berry Farm. But again, all three theme parks are excellent. And, chances are my entire audience of, however many people watch this, like 10 people, already know that. But I guess that's just my 2 cents on these places. They're all great theme parks. I love all of them. I think Disneyland is my favorite, followed by Six Flags, then Knott's Berry Farm. And they're all fun. So leave a message about what your favorite is, or a comment about what your favorite is, your favorite rides, your favorite areas in these theme parks. And thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.